I like these.
Okay.
I like these a lot.
Nice.
I would not wear them because I'm an old white guy.
Would you? Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of Real Folk Mississippi, where we interview real people doing real things in the state of Mississippi. Thank you a lot for joining us today. If you haven't subscribed, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and leave us a comment. We love to hear from you. Today, we have a very special guest. We are here at the Lauren Rogers Museum of Art. And this is a beautiful place. We recommend it highly. We want to take you through some things here. And to help us, we have the man, the myth, the legend. I'm going to let him introduce himself. Go.
Thank you first of all, thanks for doing this.
Yeah,
what a great opportunity for us. But my name is George Bassey. I've been here at the museum for about 31 years now. I'm the museum director.
Okay.
And I didn't come here originally to be the director. I came here originally to be director of development. I came to do fundraising.
Okay.
That's kind of my background. I'm one of those weird art museum directors that has an accounting degree. There really aren't probably a lot of us. I know. And
okay. Explain that to me.
Well, so I was an accounting major.
Okay.
Ended up going back to and worked at Delta State University for 5 years after I graduated in their foundation, doing fundraising. And went to USM to get my master's in public relations, worked for the USM Foundation for about a year.
Okay.
And then at that point, came here to the Lauren Rogers Museum of Art here in Laurel to be the director of development. It was the new position. They didn't have anybody at the time. It was a new position they'd added. Mm-hmm. And so I came to do that. And the director that hired me left about 3 months later, went to a museum in West Virginia. And so I was named acting director. And I did that for about 6 months. And then in the summer of 94, I was named the director permanently and haven't left. It's stuck.
That's wow. So what keeps you here? What keeps you here? 31 years.
I tell my kids, if you find something you love every day, you're really not working. I mean, it really is. Just find something that you have a passion about. And nonprofits, I'd always raised money, and so everything had always been more of that mission based. That we're changing things, we're transforming lives. What are we doing to make a difference? So when you come from the nonprofit sector, that's kind of, I think, gets ingrained in you early on. Yeah. And so by doing that, so I got here and then really saw what the museum did in the community. Okay. And the fact that since 1923, people had grown up with a free art museum in their backyard to come and learn and see, hopefully be inspired, anything like that. And so I got here and really, the mission is just incredible. And it's it's a wonderful situation, and so that part of it, I think, is what's kept me here. But of course, the amount of support we get. I mean, just from the community, people, our visitors, everything, all of our different partners, everyone we do programming with, make this job just a lot of fun. Okay. It's always different. Yeah. Nothing is the same, every day. And I think that kind of really is, it helps keep me here for sure.
So do you mind taking us through the museum?
Of course not. That's my job, first of all. Yeah. But we love sharing this information, so I'm happy to do it.
All right. Well, after you, sir.
So the original library in 1923, of course, would have continued here. Today we're all art history, art reference. And so just about any art subject you could want would be through here. Out the window is actually our studio. That's our kids' studio for a lot of our classes. And that would have been actually the 3-car garage. Had Lauren's house been finished in 1921 when he died, that actually would have been his garage. We kept it and used it as a studio. This is the original American Gallery, as we call it. And it houses, of course, the collection from the early part of the 18th century, works from the early 1700s to the early 1900s. Okay. It's about 200 years of art, pretty much every genre, every style of art. So we've got some that are, of course, from portraiture to things that are a little more realistic. We end with American Impressionism on a lot of this. So it's landscape, still life portraits. We have, of course, children in art. We have a whole collection of a display of women artists in this particular room. But we also have, what's special is this also houses a collection of early Mississippi artists. And so we've got Richmond Barté and Marie Hull. They're all on the far end. Kate Freeman Clark, Gaines Rugger Donahoe on the far end. Carl Wolf. So it kind of is a who's who of Mississippi artists from the early 1900s as well.
Now, I'm a big tennis fan.
Oh, okay.
Huge tennis fan. So I just want to know more about this.
Well, you picked a good one.
Okay.
So this is Fairfield Porter, and this is one of our, from particularly work created kind of a little after the mid-century point, but early 1970s. He is kind of one of America's best at it, and so people study him for sure. I mean, Fairfield Porter is a name that is known throughout this country in particular, and I love his work. Not just the scene, and this is kind of basically his family playing tennis. But I love it because it's fun for us to tell kids to see what they're looking at, because he was really good at not painting things. And so when you look at this painting, you realize, wait a minute, we always do it with people like there are no strings on the racket, or there's no net. The illusion of the net is there to do it. And the other thing he did that's kind of different, I'm not an artist. I don't paint, thank goodness. You would not like my artwork, but he did things a little differently. And a lot of times he painted the trees in the background and then put the sky on top of it.
We are in the contemporary portion of the museum. Could you tell us about two pieces that that caught my eye?
Okay.
You have this one.
All right.
That just a lot of things going on.
It is. Well, and I love that one. It's interesting because it's, when you think self-portrait of an artist, you don't think that scene, but that is a self-portrait of John Winslow, the artist. He's looking into a mirror, and that is his mother, Marcella, was an artist, and so it's called In Marcella's Studio. Okay. And that is inside where he paints, and that's where she paints. And so it's a painting of himself standing in her studio, which I thought.
Okay, that's impressive.
I love it because there's so much going on.
Exactly.
And it's and if you've ever been to an artist studio, you really, and I love that. I like it because it doesn't smell, but I can smell the artist studio. Because when you mix oils, all of that comes out anytime you walk into an artist studio. And it's always kind of messy. I don't really trust an artist that's very neat. And so, you want it to look a little messy and disheveled with stuff everywhere. And most artists work on more than one painting at once. And so you're going to have lots of things going on. They'll visit a painting, they'll work on it, they'll spend some time on it, but they may not go back to it until the next day or the next week, because it's a process for them sometimes. Okay. Right. And so that is what that is. And the other part that's kind of interesting is that John Winslow, that painting is from the 1970s. He's still alive. And if you look at his contemporary work from today, they've evolved, but they all have that interior component is still there. So you can look at a modern work of his 50 years later and see that in it almost. It's just his style is kind of the same. So it's kind of interesting.
When are you going to get him to come down?
We've talked about that. Okay. And so hopefully, I really hope we do. He's been back
John,
once
come on,
since
man.
then. I know you would. I hope he would.
Okay.
Because it's one of our favorites.
Yeah. So. All right. So the next one behind me over here.
Well, okay. So that's Betsy Eby. Yes. And what's funny is that a lot of times you talk about opposites attracting. Her husband is Bo Bartlett. Okay. And so Bo Bartlett, they live in Columbus, Georgia. They have a summer place off the coast of Maine. And her husband, Bo Bartlett, is super realistic. As a matter of fact, that's his painting. The guy on the bicycle is Bo Bartlett. That's his painting.
Okay, I always wonder what.
That's his painting. He paints just like that in realism. Okay. But Betsy is totally abstract. And what's fun about hers is the process. Okay. Because that is basically a wax that she takes, and most of what when she paints, her paintings are flat. And because it's wax, she takes paint pigment, the color, which is a powder, dry substance, and she melts that in. So she paints those with blowtorches, basically. And so the movement of the blowtorch melts the paint pigment into the wax, and it then gives it this movement as it melts away to get these designs into them. So she's really phenomenal, and she does large scale. And so you'll see her if there are videos of her, and sometimes she'll have a gas mask on because she's working with these torches, and she can create and make these paintings move. But that, we don't allow people to touch, but it's the one that people want to touch, because when you get up close to it, you'll be able to see the thickness of the wax, and you realize that, oh my gosh, it's like, it's basically almost just wax, but it's colored in. But she does that with a blowtorch.
That is wow.
So it's not always a brush.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a blowtorch. Mm-hmm.
So when you're talking about the blowtorch and all this abstract art, now we have a lot of things in our culture right now that would say we're abstract art. Mm-hmm. Some people would say that it's a little bit on the weird side. Other people say you don't understand what's going on. How do you tell the difference in your eyes?
And that kind of goes back to the beginning of this when I told you I was an accounting major, right?
Yes,
so the good part of that is I don't really have a preconceived notion of kind of what is art and what's not art.
Okay.
And so, but in my mind, I think a lot of it is, a lot of it is things that I kind of know I like it if I see it sometimes when I look at things, and I get to ask that question a lot. And so, I love abstract art. It's kind of weird. I do. My wife does not. And so we'll get things. So if you come into our house, you're going to see a little of both because of that. And she'll look at an abstract painting and go, I wish there was like a bird painted in there or something so I can see it. But I think that a lot of it is an appreciation for maybe like who did it first and maybe who did it. So for example, so Sam Gilliam is phenomenal. Born in Tupelo, Mississippi, internationally known, passed away 2 years ago, and he took the canvas off the stretcher and painted it and manipulated it, and he does hanging canvases. And he was really the first to do it, beginning in the 60s and all through the 70s and 80s. Now you can't even touch them, can't even afford to get one of his works.
What are you talking about?
But it's a case of other people can try to do that, but it's not going to be Sam Gilliam.
Yeah.
And so our piece is more of a construction piece by him. It's layered with different things on it. And so I think a lot of it, if you're looking at an abstract artist or an art form, you look at it and go, well, what was the artist doing to do that?
Okay, I never thought about
that. And so, and a lot of that is with some of these that you'll see. So one of my favorites is a guy named Mo Brooker in this room. And so Mo Brooker is this one here. And, very abstract. But,
now, this is my point.
But guess what? Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, wonderful artist. Okay. He only paints to jazz music. And so then you start looking at it and you go, he does all of that with it when he does it. And so that part is kind of interesting. Valerie Jardin is from Greenville, Mississippi, lives in New York, has painted her entire life in New York, left Mississippi at a young age, but she was in the beginning in the 70s and 80s, 60s, 70s and 80s, was in that pattern movement where you kind of, and it looks simple until you get up to it and you realize the layers of it in there. Okay. And it's the same with Ida Kohlmeyer, another abstract. Okay. Totally crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fun. She was in her 80s when she painted that. Okay. New Orleans artist. Okay. But if you see how she evolved, you look at her early works that were not so abstract. They then became abstract because she started taking classes with Hans Hofmann when he was down at Tulane. She became more abstract, and then she went totally to this. And so I tell people all the time, there are sculptures in New Orleans all over the place with all these real funky shapes. There used to be a whole set of them outside the aquarium in New Orleans. They were up on pedestals, and they were all these creatures, looked like sea creatures, and that was Ida Kohlmeyer. And she was doing them, but she took things a little differently. And even by the time she was creating that, her eyesight was going away, especially her peripheral vision. So she would just do sections at a time. And that is how that fun component of it is what she did. And it is just different.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you like it if you see it, but also you like it because you maybe know who the artist is, and you kind of learn about that process, and you go, well, wait a minute, I kind of like that story, I love that artist, so let me try to learn more.
Okay. So, all right. Okay, so we have a game for you to play called Would You Wear This?
Okay. All right.
So
is that what these are?
Yes, that's what the boxes are.
All right.
So what happens is you just open the box, rate it from 1 to 10.
All right.
And just say
10 I would wear it?
Yeah, 10 you would, 1 just like no. And then just give it a brutally honest example or of why.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Go ahead.
First pair. Ooh. Yeah. See, these are good. Yes.
Okay. All right.
I'd wear them, and I don't know, but now I wouldn't say 10. But that's not bad at all.
Those are Kyrie's,
But of course, I went to USM, so
that's exactly why I have.
There you go. There you go. All right. Ooh. Now these are arty.
Okay.
I like these.
Okay.
I like these a lot.
Nice.
I would not wear them because I'm an old white guy. But I'm just telling you, these are pretty awesome shoes, though.
Would your sons wear those?
One of them would.
One of them. Okay.
One of them would.
All right. Cool.
Yes. Those are
we're
cool.
Doing good
those are cool colors.
Yeah, we're doing good so far.
Ooh. Are these LeBrons?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Look, no, any LeBron shoe, anybody can wear LeBron shoes.
Yeah.
So yes, I could wear these.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
I don't even want to know how much some of these.
No, you don't.
So does your wife know how much you pay for shoes?
Yeah, unfortunately.
All right, just checking in. Ooh, I would wear these.
Okay.
But these are arty.
Yes.
Think about it. So yes.
Nice.
These are pretty cool.
Okay, we're doing good so far. Okay, now the last one. Here we go.
Ooh, I would not wear these. No. Do you wear these a lot?
Not a lot.
Okay, good. So these are Jordans, I'm assuming. Yeah. Okay.
So
they're pretty cool looking. I guess because they're shiny.
Yeah,
the shiny patent part is tough to carry off for me.
Okay, I got you.
And I'm not a high top person, so
okay.
But I'm not saying they don't look good on you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. All right, nice. Well, thank you very much for playing Would You Wear This? All right, so we have reached the end of our tour. George, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for doing this.
Yes, we really enjoyed being here. I love coming to this museum every time I'm in town.
That's what we like to hear. We want, and that's what we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
I tell people the beauty of the Lauren Rogers Museum of Art is that we're free, first of all.
Yes.
And from 1923, that was kind of the vision of the founders. Lauren's grandparents they didn't want anybody to not be able to come in and learn something because they couldn't afford to. And it's just that component of making people feel comfortable, wanting them to come into a museum and come see things. And so that part of it is. And another part of it too is I think nowadays it's just so easy for people to look at art on their phone or not have to go there. But when you come to this building and you see the scale of everything, if you think about it and you see the size of the artwork, and then you can look at a piece of artwork on the computer all day long, but when you can get up close to it like you did today and look at the brushwork, you really kind of get a sense for kind of what the artist was doing.
Yes, well,
and you feel it. You feel it.
You do. That's what again. That's why my family loves coming here. From my mom, my wife, my 2 kids, they love it. So, is there anything that's coming up in the museum that you want the audience to know about?
Well, museum-wise, we have temporary exhibits that are always changing. So always go to our website, lrma.org, because we have about 4 or 5 different exhibits every year that change out.
Okay.
And it's always something new and different. And we have an entire lower level gallery space for those. And that's always a lot of fun. And then also go to our website to look for festivals and events, because we always try. Our goal is to always have something going on to give people an opportunity to come and learn and do something. And so if they have questions, they're always welcome to call us, 601-649-6374, or come visit us. We're only closed on Mondays, so we're open 6 days a week.
Okay,
so
nice.
I hope they'll come see us.
Okay, well, hope you guys have enjoyed this as much as I have. Again, if you're in the Laurel, Mississippi area, please come by Lauren Rogers Museum of Art, and we'll see you later. Thank you.